Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Season 13, Episode 10, overall 670 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by our friends at Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com, for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, along with their great selection of all-electric vehicles and Cadillac vehicles as well. You can call the dealership at 519-824-0210 and tell them Chris Palme sent you, or you can email them at info@barrycullen.com. Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership has been family-run and operated here in the city of Guelph since 1969, and Barry Cullen Chevrolet has been a proud sponsor and advertiser of this show, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, since 2022. I hope everybody is doing well on this Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026, my first show for the month of March, and I'm looking forward to my guest tonight. I met her through TikTok, social media, and we're going to bring her on right now. She is an actress, TV model, a podcast host, and we're going to bring her on in just one moment. And she's also, I think she's involved with Universal Studios in Orlando as well. We're going to bring her on right now, Marjha Lynn, and we're going to bring her on, Marjha Lynn, right now. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I hope I didn't butcher your first name wrong.
No, that was perfect.
Okay, because I always pride myself in getting my guests' names right, and sometimes names aren't always what they seem to be with pronunciations.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
So how are you doing? How's things in Florida right now?
It's good. It's getting hot again, which I always say that Florida weather can be very bipolar. We had a cold snap back in February where it got down to, my gosh, like 20 degrees, which is very unheard of down here.
That's balmy. That's balmy to us Canadians. That's like barbecuing weather.
Oh gosh, well, yeah. Yeah, to us, we were, I mean, if it's anything probably below 60, we're freezing. So yeah.
I wanted to ask you this too, since you're in Florida in the Orlando area. Does the Orlando area get hit hard with hurricanes too, or is it far enough away from the ocean where you guys don't get the hurricanes?
So you are correct. Orlando is considered more inland, so more of our cities, like, are you familiar with Daytona Beach?
Yes, yes, for the racing.
So, Daytona Beach, Ormond Beach, a lot of those are obviously right by the water. So those kind of coastal cities do definitely get hit more by the hurricanes. But from time to time, a lot of these inland cities can get some damage as well. So it just all depends on, I guess, what Mother Nature has up her sleeve.
Are you originally from the state of Florida?
Yes, born and raised.
What do you love about Florida the most?
Oh, wow. Well, we definitely are famous for our theme parks. You know, we have Disney, of course, Universal, and many others. And then we have a few beaches, which is very popular. And I would say I'm more of a spring, summer kind of gal, because I do like this warmer weather than the chillier weather. But sometimes when fall comes and it's crisp outside but not freezing, I can also deal with that. So
for me, I like fall and winter. Fall because our summers here in Ontario get really hot and humid,
Mm.
and it bothers my allergies. So the fall is kind of cooler and it's sweatshirt weather, football weather, and then winter I really like the winter. Than the ice, I don't like driving on ice. I don't
Ah,
mind skating on ice, drinking ice in my drink, but yeah, driving on ice I don't like it. It's been a long winter here as well, but yeah, for me, spring and fall are my two favorite times of the year.
oh, nice. And then I've heard, speaking of the ice, I've heard like black ice. Are you familiar with the that
Yes,
term?
at
Yeah, I heard
nighttime,
that's
yes.
very dangerous. So
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So I don't mind driving in snow, but freezing rain and icy conditions, no. And you can't control yourself no matter what kind of tires you have. Ice is still ice. So
Yeah, I've heard both my parents are from up north originally, so they're like, "Yeah, it's nothing to play with." So,
what part of up north are they up from originally?
so my mom, she's from New Jersey, and then my dad is
Okay.
from Ohio. So,
Oh, so he's got to be a Buckeyes fan,
yeah, he
being from
is.
Ohio.
He is, yes.
He's not gonna like me. I'm a Michigan Wolverines fan.
Ah, yeah.
So, but what's some of your favorite foods in Florida? And are you a big sports fan, music fan too?
Um, I do like sports, from time to time. I'm more of, I guess, like, I like to watch maybe the World Series, of course, the Super Bowl, and the Olympics that just the Winter Olympics just ended. So those kind of sports, I would say I'm more into.
What did you like most about the Olympics? I know here in Canada we're kind of devastated with
Oh yeah.
the women and the men's hockey teams losing the gold medal games, but it was great for hockey. You know, regardless of which country won, those games were it was really great, and that's why we watch the Olympics for.
Yeah, well, of course, I'm sorry for your loss, but I am happy we got a gold, so that was nice. Usually for the Winter Olympics, I really like the skiing that they have, and then the figure skating is my favorite, I would say.
Any plans to go to the Olympics in LA in 2028?
Ooh, I mean, I would love to go. I don't know if I will, but that might be something down the road that if the opportunity presents itself, who knows? I might be there.
Marja, can you tell our audience? I'm based in the Toronto area here in Canada. Can you just tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, as I mentioned, I'm born and raised in Florida. And let's see, growing up, I always, back to the sports question, I would say I was more of a arts and kind of theater type of person more than a sports person. So I was heavily involved in plays and choirs, and I did a little dancing when I was younger, but definitely more of like the arts and entertainment type of background growing up. And I would say I've always had a love for films. Is like yesterday, I remember, and this is kind of odd for your average 5 or 6 years old. I would say maybe what got me into really liking films is when I was about 5 or 6, I would watch Gone with the Wind, uh, maybe up to twice a day when I was little, and I would get my props out and pretend that I was Scarlett O'Hara, and so that right there, I guess, kind of catapulted my interest into movies and really made me appreciate films and motion pictures.
What made Gone with the Wind such a great movie?
Oh wow. Uh, Well, being younger, obviously a lot of that stuff went over my head when it came to the historical significance. As I got older and would rewatch it, I understood it and appreciated it. But um, I guess I don't know if it was something that I saw in the character when I was younger, or just something caught my eye, maybe with the costumes or the music or just the storyline in general. And just for whatever reason, I was, my 6-year-old self just running around with my little, I would pretend to take a dress and put something under it to make it look like it was a bustle, back in that era. So when I was younger, I really don't know what it was that made me stick to that movie per se, but it must have been something about it that I thoroughly enjoyed, and would say that is my first film that I watched that made me appreciate the arts.
What was your favorite scene in that movie, and what did you like about the soundtrack?
Oh wow. My favorite scene. I haven't watched it in quite a while. Um, I know in the film, Scarlett and Rhett Butler have a child. And I don't know, being so young, if I saw myself in the little girl. Um, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but if you have seen the film, you may know what happens to the young girl. So in that, I don't know if it was something that I saw in the little girl, when they were giving her like horse riding lessons. And then in terms of the music, being someone that has always loved music, no matter the genre, and like I mentioned prior, I was in choir, so like classical pieces was always something that I thought was very beautiful. And I guess the melody and the melodic pieces is something that just caught my ear even at a young age.
In your opinion, as an actor and a model, and you're a podcast host of your own show with Movies with Marjha, I'm plugging that too. What makes a great movie in your opinion? And obviously the soundtrack helps too.
Yes, definitely the soundtrack. And I think originality is what makes a film something great, because of course you can adapt a film from a book, and that's absolutely fine, because that's something that's actually a favorite thing of mine. If it's a film that originally is a book, I do like to, if I can, read the book and then watch the film to kind of compare, like, oh, what's different, what's the same, did they add anything, did they take out something. But for me, it's an original screenplay or a piece or an idea that nobody else ever has come up with or heard of. And I think that is kind of a cinematic genius for me.
What are your thoughts on today's movies? Do you find there's less movies now being made like books? Do you find books into movies is shrinking? And do you find creativity in Hollywood is shrinking too?
Um, I would say slightly, to an extent. There aren't, at least that I know of, a lot of films that are being adapted from a novel or a book anymore. And if they are, the director or whoever is putting the piece together is kind of changing it to make their own, which I have absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think if you want to add a little creativity or kind of up it in your own way, I find nothing wrong with that. But I do think sometimes with remakes and things being made, we're kind of shying away from making something and putting pen to paper or fingers to our keyboard and putting something together that is original.
Do you find the AI industry, the AI and technology is shrinking the film industry as well?
Yeah, that's a biggie. Yes, that's also to an extent. I believe, are there positives to AI and can you use it for good? Absolutely, I do think so. And are there some ideas with that where you can kind of have some qualms with it? Yes, because I believe that nothing is original or a good piece until it comes from your brain. If you are putting a piece together and it's coming from your mind, that right there makes for really good cinema, really good screenplays, whether it's going to be in a movie theater or even on a stage if you're doing a play. And creativity that way, I think, is better for the entertainment industry than AI. Not saying that AI is negative, but I really think nothing says creativity like coming out of someone's mind and originality by putting that pen to that paper.
Do you find, I know here in Canada, movie theaters are kind of being shrunk. Do you find that movie theaters in the States as well is shrinking due to live streaming platforms like Amazon Prime and Netflix?
Yes, I feel like in the recent couple of years, they are definitely trying to bring back that cinematic movie-going experience. But again, you do have, like you said, your Netflix, your Amazon Prime, your Hulu, your Peacock. I can go on. There's many of that. And I mean, I'm just as much as the next person. I do like to watch a film in the comfort of my PJs, sitting on the couch eating my popcorn. But I do also continue to want to go to the movie theater and the cinema and just have that experience of the other moviegoers, sitting near me and just that surround sound of the big screen. So I do enjoy both, but I do think that we could do better with putting more projects on the big screen.
What are your thoughts on independent movies growing these days?
Oh, I love it. And being that I'm here in Florida, there are more independent indie films being made. So I'm someone who is an actor who likes to support other actors. So whether your project is super small or you're trying to get the funding to make it a larger project, I think more indie films should be made and get yourself out there, because I believe even if you start small, that's the way to eventually get yourself to, where you want to be, whether that's, Oscar stardom, or you still want to be in that smaller budget realm. Nothing's wrong with that, because I've been in a few independent films myself, independent short films, and I really think that's a great way to start out in the business, and I believe it should continue.
In your opinion, what makes a good indie movie these days?
Oh goodness. Again, I'll piggyback on the originality aspect. I think a lot of independent films are very, I guess I could say, Hollywood or even Academy Award worthy, and it's kind of a shame that they don't get the dynamic or the buzz that they should. And that's why we should still support independent and nonprofit organizations that put on these small productions, so that they can get the gratitude and the naming that they deserve, in my opinion. But again, like I mentioned, I think that it should be a continuing thing, and that the independent industry should live on through supporting one another.
Can you tell us about being an actress in short films and how much that's helped you as an actress?
Yes. I will kind of give a little plug here. What started my journey, I guess I could say, into the acting business, I was a part of a organization called Orlando Independent Filmmakers, and it is an organization that specializes in independent films, and specifically independent films that are 9 minutes or less. And they have a ceremony, and they have a screening for all of the films that get shown and nominated, which I think is very awesome. And that way, I think it's a good way, especially if you're a beginner or just kind of getting started in the industry, whether you're an actress or a director or a producer or what have you. It's a good way to kind of get your movie starting off in a small chunk like that, a 9 minute or less film. And that way you can put it into the, what do they call it? The film festival markets. And that way, if it's well received, then if you want to go on and explore into putting it into a feature that's 30 plus minutes, it's a good way to start small like that, to kind of start your budget and then see if you want to put it into something larger.
On average, how long is a short film usually? Generally 9 minutes or less? Generally?
I would say anything. I mean, you could have a short film that's as short as 2 minutes, but I believe your cap is anything that's nothing over 45 minutes, I want to say. So around the 30 mark range or less.
How many short movies have you been in so far in your acting career so far?
Oh, wow. I would have to look at my IMBD page for that. A lot of them I started off as an extra or a background character. And I did that to really get my foot in the door. I did it for networking purposes because I didn't know who I might bump into, or I could kind of pick someone's brain about, hey, how did you get into this? And then I also did it for experience of sitting on a set, thinking to myself, all right, if I am possibly just going to be a blip on the screen or have that one line, am I up for the challenge of knowing that I may be sitting here for 10 hours before I actually get to say that one line? So that was a good way for me to truly know if I wanted to continue or do this. And I tell other people this: if you are very interested in getting into the film industry, start off as a background actor or an extra and see if you can stomach, as the saying goes, hurry up and waiting, because you will do a lot of that when you're on set, which I didn't mind it because I like to observe the other people on set. If they're one of the principal main actors, I kind of like to study people. And maybe that comes from my experience. I have a degree in sociology, and that's the study of people. So maybe that's where that comes from. But that was my start in being behind the camera.
How important is observational skills and listening skills as well?
Oh, I believe it's absolutely important, because whether you have one line or a whole monologue, I believe that to make your performance believable or to be a quote good actor comes more from listening to your opposite partner that you're doing a scene with than saying the words. Because you can say it, but I believe it makes it more believable if you take in what is being said to you from the other person you share the screen with. So I believe listening skills is very up there in the maybe 85 to 90 percentile of what you do when you say your lines on screen.
And especially in the media industry as well. When I
Mm.
first started doing this show 6 years ago, I was everything was scripted, and when my guests would come on, I would look at the piece of paper and I would ask them questions that they already answered. So I've learned that listening is probably just as important, if not more important, than talking as well, especially to the guests as well.
Oh yes, absolutely.
What has been your most memorable acting role so far in short films and maybe some commercials you'd like to tell our audience about?
Oh wow, my most memorable. Um, well, if I start off with a film, I would say the latter part of 2020. Oh my goodness, what has this been now? 2024, I was in my first feature film. And so I have a supporting role in that. It's called Doll of Deceit, and it was written by one of my closest friends. She put the project together, got a group of directors and directors of photography that we had previously also worked together on screen with. And it's this kind of suspenseful thriller horror film that has to do with a lot of, how can I say, the theming is deception. That's a word that I would say basically sums up this film. People are very deceiving, and you shouldn't always believe what you see. So I had a supporting role in this, and this was, like I said, my first feature film. And I found it very memorable because one of my goals was to be in a role where, whether I was the main character or a supporting, that it would be a kind of horror-esque type of movie. And obviously, I haven't even seen the final cut yet, so I'm very excited to see it when I do see it. But it involves some bloodiness, and that was one of my goals, to be in a scary film. And I would say that I have achieved that and hope to do some more maybe horror films. So I would say that was my most memorable day on set because I got all bloodied up and it was a lot of fun to do.
Would
Uh, oh, go ahead. I'm
would you
sorry.
No, I was gonna say, would you consider doing science fiction movies and comedy movies as well, or kind of like horror movies is your forte?
No, I am really not picky when it comes to wanting to do just one set genre. Now, honestly, when I said horror, I actually do not like watching horror movies, but I wouldn't mind being in them. Ultimately, I would, I guess, have to muster up some strength to watch it because it's like, all right, how did I do in this? But no, I would love to be in a sci-fi film, obviously drama, comedy, which is not easy. I have yet to do it, but I would say, and I would think many people who are in this industry would agree with me that comedy is probably the hardest genre to do because it's all about timing and knowing how to do your delivery. So, but no, I'm not opposed to just one genre. I would love to do many genres if I'm given the opportunity.
It's like I'm wearing a hat right now, but literally I'm the producer, the talk show host, content creator. I wear 10 different hats because
Uh-huh.
it's very important in the media or radio industry. You might not be the best at everything, but it's important that you learn a little bit of everything. And being an actress too, how important is it to wear many hats in the film and the entertainment industry?
I think it's very important, and I consider myself a lifelong learner. Excuse me. So I'm someone who feels like if I feel like it can benefit me and look good in my career, on my resume, sign me up. So I think that's a good feat to have, like you said, to wear many hats and do as much as you can and learn as much as you can.
What are your thoughts on diversity in the film industry? Do you find there's more and more women becoming producers and directors and women of color as well?
Yes. First of all, I think it's very important because we need to have their expertise, their voices, and their stories to be written and their voices to be heard. Someone myself, I'm a woman and I'm a person of color, so when I see other women out there that are like me or look like me, I am 100% for that, and I love seeing that. And even going back to when I was younger, I would be someone who would watch the credits of films. Not so much anymore, but sometimes I would look at the credits and see like, okay, how many women's names are in the credits of these films. So when I see that, and we have so many female directors, Catherine Bigelow, Chloe Zhao. Like I'm a big supporter of females in the industry and women of color.
Have you thought about one day maybe getting into producing and directing at some point as well?
Uh, it has crossed my mind. I actually, like many, I would say, creatives out here, and maybe people on your show who are watching can attest to this, and even maybe yourself. I have many things, whether it's on my phone, in a notebook, or on my computer, so many ideas that I have yet to actually formulate. I used to like to write and journal as a child, so I maybe that's kind of where my creativity of like putting things out there, but just never actually putting the time to type things up or write things up. But I definitely would like to take a snippet of something that I've thought of and make it into a film or a documentary or what have you. But being behind the camera, as you said, a director or producer, I would love to do that.
And being in the media industry, I've done part TV stuff and radio stuff. The on-air people get all the credit, but really it's the
Mm.
behind the scenes. It's the producers, directors, the camera operators, which I was at one point, the audio guys. It really is a team effort to make a movie or a broadcast these days.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like they're the, how can I say, unsung heroes of the project, because if they weren't there or if it wasn't for them, it wouldn't get finished or it really wouldn't get made. And they deserve more credit than they're given.
Marjha, how important is it having a strong mindset and support system? Because, and I know in my career too, you're going to get your successes, but you're also going to get told no, and you're going to have your setbacks. How important is it to make sure you have a strong mindset and support system as an actor?
I believe it's very very important. If you don't have someone, if you don't, even if you don't have, as they say, a village, because a lot of things, it takes a village to get something done. But whether you're just starting out or even if you've been doing it for a while, if you have one or two people in your corner, whether they're in the business or not, to just help you, give you that pep talk or to support you, I really think that goes a long way in helping you do what you want to do, because we can get in our head a lot as human beings. I know I do. There's a lot of times where I haven't gotten roles, many times where I've said, someone has told me no, and in that moment I feel very defeated. But I remember an acting teacher that I took classes with said, don't look at it as, oh, I have to audition for this part and I may not get it. They said, look at it as, I'm given this opportunity to audition. And if I get the part, great. So that's how I kind of have to almost rewire my brain or my thinking into just make something into a positive situation, even if the outcome isn't what you want.
How important are connections and networking, especially in the film industry these days?
That's another topic that's very important. I feel like, especially when you're first starting out, for me, I didn't know where to look, what avenues to take. So again, when I was just that little background actor or extra on set, I would even mingle with some of the other extras who had way more experience than I did at the time. And I said, well, how did you first of all hear about, where we are today on set? Do you know anybody here? Or, how did you get into it? So again, that's why I like to kind of get in the heads of other people who are into this like myself, to see maybe what avenues did they take, and whether you're networking with big wigs of the project or someone who's in the same shoes you are, just kind of starting out. It's good to know what they did or what questions did they ask, or just a simple Google search of how to such and such when it comes to getting parts or taking classes, or oh, who's a good acting teacher in your area. All those things are very very important, because even not just acting, I just believe that in life as a whole, whether it's just a regular corporate job or just something very simple, it's a lot of times, 90% of the time, at least in my experience, who you know, not what you know.
Marcia, how much have you evolved and improved as an actress, and what area would you like to improve upon as well?
I would say for me, taking classes and workshops is what helped me become better in my craft. Now, there are people out there who just have the natural talent or the knack to be an actress or be a piano player or be really good at baseball, or whatever it is. If you have that natural talent, that's great. But again, I think, because I was looking at an interview with Denzel Washington. He's one of the most critically acclaimed actors ever of our generation, and he said that when he has a like a lull in his career where he, maybe didn't do a movie or two in the last few years, he's taking acting classes. And I found that very fascinating, because I thought to myself, well, why is Denzel Washington still in an acting class? But he did that to just keep himself active, keep his brain going, so he wouldn't get, as they say, rusty. Because as they say, if you lose if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. So I feel like taking classes, no matter where your experience level is, what your age is, a workshop, even if it's a 45-minute Zoom class, I feel like that for me is what helped me perfect and do better and even going forward.
And you said the word rusty too. It's like with my show, since I've been doing this for 6 years, the longest I've gone without doing a show is 4 days. People have
Oh
told me, why
wow.
don't you take a week or 2 week off? And I'm like, I think the longer you take time off, you become more rusty, and then it's hard for you to get back in that routine. So for me personally, I do take some time off, but I generally don't go more than 4 days without a show because I want to keep my skills sharp and I want to keep improving and evolving as well. And speaking of improving and evolve me, how much have you feel that you've improved even in the last year as an actor?
Oh wow. I would say from where I started and really not knowing a lot and having to be careful with scams because that's a big thing that comes up when you're starting because a lot of people, it's those kind of get rich quick schemes. They try to say, oh, if you come to this location, we'll pay you such and such money for an audition. If there's something out there that says you'll get paid for an audition, that's dangerous. That's a danger zone. But a lot of people they don't know. They're very naive. So just things like that. Not thank goodness, not that I was victim to that, but it's you have to be very careful and think about how you're going to do this. And as you had mentioned before, have that support system, keep your mind sharp by trying to be consistent at it. And for me, if I'm not actively having a project going on at the moment or taking a class, I like to post little videos of acting challenges or on my podcast even talk about a movie or something that has to do with something that happened on set or a fun movie fact just to keep the wheels running and not be, as I said, rusty. So because if you don't do it after a couple weeks like you said, you do kind of lose it in your for me my motivation is going to kind of wean off and I won't want to do it and that's not my goal. I gotta keep at it. So
You want to continue to grow as an actor and not shrink.
yes, absolutely. Thank you. Yes.
By the way, how important is it? I'm not sure if you have an agent or manager, but how important is it to surround yourself with the right people? Because you're right, you could get the wrong agent, the wrong manager, and they can do a lot of damage to your career.
Yes, so I do have some agencies that I'm signed to, and again, to be successful per se, you don't have to because I didn't start off automatically, signed because that's not really gonna work unless you really, I guess, have the talent and somebody says, "Oh, this person's excellent. Let me sign them immediately." I guess very similar to the sports world, but you don't have to necessarily have a agent or a manager right away to start booking things. You just have to know, as we talked about a few minutes ago, networking and whether it's just getting your feet wet on a set or talking to that extra that's just like you, like, okay, well, what other things have you done that maybe I haven't gotten to yet, and can you just give me a little tidbit on how you got here? So
Marja, I wanted to get your thoughts on this too. Do you have any tips for memorizing lines, and how difficult is it sometimes to stay in and out of character?
oh yes, this one was kind of a difficult one for me, especially when I was first starting out, because I would see the lines on paper, especially if it was kind of a big paragraph or a monologue, and the first thing I looked at was, oh gosh, that's a lot of lines. Don't think of it that way. And everybody has all types of techniques, and sometimes I don't even stick to the same one. There might be one day where I will just read over and over and over until it starts clicking and I can kind of say it in my head. Or there might be another day where I write out the lines. Sometimes that helps. Or I will tape myself just reading it and then listening to it back in headphones, kind of like an audio book, so that it'll just come seamlessly when I do speak it and I won't sound like a robot, and I can start putting the more expressive nuances in my dialogue or inflection where I need to put it.
Have you thought about doing voiceover work in the future as well?
I have, and that is a market that I have yet to learn about. And again, I recently networked. I went to a Screen Actors Guild little screening party with a friend who also is in the industry, and there was a woman there who started doing some voiceovers, and I automatically told her that that was something that I've been interested in, wanting to do, maybe audiobook narration or voiceovers for commercials or companies or something like that. And she gave me some information of videos on YouTube and some kind of modules. And believe there's something called LinkedIn Learning where I could just look at those and learn that way. And then I can kind of know what to expect or the craft of it before I start taking classes or, investing in a home studio setup. So kind of learn the ways or the tricks of the trade first, and then put your investments where you need it.
I've been trying to do a little bit of that myself through TikTok with
Mm,
voiceover work, and also I've had a voiceover artist, Mary Morgan. I should put you in touch with her as well. She's a
cool.
terrific voiceover artist. She's out of Texas and she has her own studio, so I should put you in connect with her. And I also had a couple of female ventriloquists on my show too. That is not
Oh
easy
wow.
either. That is not easy
No.
doing that with puppets and not moving your lips.
Oh my gosh, I that's another thing I know they say never, but I don't think that's something I probably could ever do. I think you already have to have a talent for that, and something like that has always amazed me. Like, how can they sound like they're speaking audible words and their mouths and lips aren't moving? Yeah, that's fascinating.
I'm gonna put you on the spot with this question. If there was a movie made about you right now, which actress would you like to play yourself? Marjha Lynn. Who would you
Oh,
want you to play you?
oh my goodness. Well, being that I have my glasses on today, it may not be I may not look like her as much, but I have been told quite a bit in the last few years that I resemble, and she used to be an actress. I don't know if she's going to come back. I resemble Meghan Markle, Prince Harry's wife. So, I mean, I know she's obviously I'm younger than her, but oh boy. That's the first person that came to mind because so many people have told me that I favor or resemble her, and I do like her a lot. She was on one of my favorite shows, Suits. So, yeah, that's who I can think of at the moment.
Speaking of TV shows, have you watched Shrinking on Apple TV yet? Have you seen that TV show?
No. No, and that's the one that has, Harrison Ford.
Yes.
He's in it, correct? Yes. No, I heard that's a really good one. I haven't gotten into that yet.
By the way, my favorite Harrison Ford movie, obviously the original Star Wars people think of,
Mhm.
but to me, my favorite all-time Harrison Ford movie, even to this day, even over Star Wars, is the 1993 movie The Fugitive with Tommy Lee Jones and Harrison Ford. And I hope they don't reboot that. I know they made a TV show of it in the 60s and they
Oh,
translated it to a movie in 1993, but I hope they never touch that movie again.
that's a great one. Yeah, that's a really good one, and he did some really great films like that one. I like, Patriot Games, that's another one of his that I like. Um, but there's many out there, but yeah, that The Fugitive is a really good one of his.
What are your thoughts on reboots right now in TV and movies?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a tricky, sticky topic. Again, with the originality, I don't think you can hold a candle to people just coming up with something that they thought of on their own from, from their brain, from their mindset. And there has been a few remakes of things with films and TV that I don't mind, but again, if this is going to be kind of like a constant theming, um, and I get it. I believe they're doing it maybe for generational purposes to kind of bait the younger generation in, which the idea of that is okay, but I just like the concept of, go watch that older Western film, or that older TV show. And if I may, one of my favorite comedy TV shows of all time, that if they were to make this into a remake, I would be on the the I guess the protest list of why are we doing this? I absolutely love the Golden Girls, and I have seen every single episode of the original Golden Girls, and I don't think they should make a remake and need to leave it alone. So
What made that TV series so successful, in your opinion?
the fact that they're four golden years aged females, that's a big topic. You put, they're in their 50s plus, they're all women, they're living together as roommates. The topics that they talked about during that time were ahead of its time, and they took very complex, kind of hard to talk about topics, but put that element of comedy in there. That's what I think really catapulted its success. And some of this more serious episodes, kind of made you think like, wow, this, I never thought of this. And then they threw that good laugh at you. I think that's what made it so successful. And everybody on there was just great. And the writer, Susan Harris, she's probably, in my opinion, one of the best writers to ever exist when it comes to a really funny, good writing of a comedy show,
For
especially
me,
in the 80s. So,
yes, I was born in '72, so I grew up in the golden era of TV in the '70s and '80s,
mm,
and to me, what makes a movie successful or a TV show successful is the chemistry with the actors and actresses. That is so important, the chemistry, and my favorite TV show to this day is MASH. And the reason why
ah,
MASH was so successful for 11 years is because they had actors come and go in that show, and they had to replace them, but they found people that replaced those great actors that had great chemistry, and it was
mhm.
kind of like a family type atmosphere. So to me, TV and movies are only as good as the on air and in person chemistry.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely agree with that. That's very important because that too is what makes a good show. Yes.
Marja, can you tell us about your modeling career and doing some commercials as well?
Yes. So that's actually how I started off. I would say probably when I was still a teenager, around 16, 17, I would do modeling and photo shoots more of a hobby. My mom would drive me over to the locations where they were having these photo shoots, and I connected with different photographers in the area and would just kind of do it for fun. And then I started thinking, I kind of like this. I get dressed up and put makeup on, but I want to kind of do it as like a real, you know, career. Maybe wasn't the word I was thinking of at the time, but yeah, get a little money for it. Why not? And back then when I was 16, 17, I guess, myself obviously, and even, my mom and my parents, they didn't know what avenues, I guess, to take on how to get me into that. And I didn't really have any other friends or girls my age that were into that. So that was another reason why I guess I didn't get into it when I was younger. But after I went to college, I said, you know what? I want to try to start getting back into modeling. And I think that'll help me be comfortable in front of the camera, because if I pose and do shoots and I'm in front of the camera without saying any words, I think that'll help my confidence to when I want to get into the acting, when I'm actually speaking on camera. And that way, starting off in modeling, at least for me, helped build my confidence in more of the commercials and being seen on camera where I'm mouthing things. And so yeah.
How competitive is the modeling industry? And also, my last guest I had on, her name was Coach Glamazon. She was a model for many years, 6'4", by the way,
Oh
and
wow.
she's a tall model, and she
Mhm.
loved modeling. But she said it also helped her transform into a women's confidence coach and speaker as well.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow, that's nice. Yeah, so I feel like it's very competitive. Just anything that has to do with entertainment, whether it's modeling, acting, voiceover, what have you, it's competitive. Um, and for me, I'm obviously I'm not that tall. I'm only 5'5", and my goal with modeling, a lot of times when people hear modeling, they think, oh, you're on the runway, you're on a, like this red carpet thing. And that can be true, but you do have to be, sad to say, a certain height when it comes to doing those couture type of Victoria's Secret or what have you runway shows. And that actually wasn't something that I really was interested in. I liked more of what they call print modeling, which is, the ads that you see for, like, when Sears was a store. They
Yeah.
had, your catalog, and you could see like the women or the men or whoever just modeling the clothes, or for a magazine or something. The print ad modeling, that was something that I was more into, and probably would be more successful, if you will, because of my height, not being, you know, 5'8" or taller, which I believe is what you have to be on the runway. So
There's still the height stereotype still in that industry, eh?
I believe it has gotten a lot better, because for sure I think it's still kind of out there with being obviously stick thin. That still goes for some shows, but they definitely, at least from what I've seen over the last maybe decade or so, have gotten a lot better with putting more plus size women in there, which I think is incredible and great, and they need to do that more. People that aren't a size zero, that's unrealistic in my opinion. So people of all shapes, sizes, heights, colors, they need to implement that more when it comes to the modeling world, which I think they're doing better with.
Marjha, what was it like being a TV model with the Home Shopping Network? And also, maybe tell us a little bit about being with the Universal Orlando's entertainment team as a scare actor for Halloween Horror Nights. What was that experiences like?
Oh my goodness. So yes, firstly with the HSN, I got that opportunity through my agency. So they were looking for models to model a tanning product. Now, obviously, I I'm pretty tan myself. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but they wanted to, and I liked the way they did this. They wanted to get three females who were all of an array of different skin tones to show that a product like this can work, to have that nice sun kissed at the beach glow, which is what they were going for. And so I had to wear a one piece bathing suit and hold the product and model it and act like I was applying it to my hands and arms. And being that that was my first experience live, it's a 24/7 channel, so it goes on throughout the night. Millions of people are watching. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of daunting and a little nerve-wracking, but after, I would say, maybe the first set, because I had several little time chunks that I was on there, and I just would do the same thing repeatedly in those different segments. It was a lot of fun. I highly enjoyed it. Meeting the other models that were there was a great opportunity, and yeah, the HSN experience was a really fun one for me. And to answer your second question, with Universal Studios in Orlando, that's a huge event that they have every year here and in Hollywood, is Halloween Horror Nights. So Being that I also work there as a quote day job, if you will. I work in the costuming department as part of the entertainment. And so the auditions had gone out. I auditioned, and then I didn't know what role I was getting, because that is the only, I don't want to say it's a downside, because it's not, but you don't know what role you're going to get when you audition for Halloween Horror Nights. You basically just have to do like a 360 turn, because they want to see, your, I guess, dimensions and what costumes or what part you would be good for. And you do, I think, like your best scream is what I had to do, and say what my favorite horror character was in the little audition interview. And I got the part of a zombie. So at this particular Universal Studios in Orlando, they have a restaurant called Mel's Diner, and it's kind of like your car hop diner, with the roller skates and the 50s music, which is really cool. That's in the daytime. But at night, when the event begins, they turn it into Mel's Die-In. And so, as part of a scare zone or street experience, they had zombies. Some of us were on roller skates, some of us were on foot. I was on foot. And we had trays of fake body parts, and we just kind of would like jab our trays at the guests as they walk through and scare them. And it was a lot of fun, and a lot of us had to compose ourselves and not laugh and not break character, which was difficult, at least the first couple of weeks. Because for me, I worked the whole duration of the event. It starts from like the bottom of August to, I believe, the very first Saturday or Sunday in November. So pretty much all of September, all of October, I worked the entire event. And it was quite a grueling one, getting home every night at like 3 a.m, because the event starts, I believe, at like 6 and goes on till 2. So that part took a toll for the first couple of weeks on my body and sleep schedule, but overall it was a lot of fun, and I might do it again. Who knows?
Is it for mostly adults or is it for kids too?
Uh, they say, as a rule of thumb, not recommended for children under 13. That's their little
Good
disclaimer.
idea. Good idea.
But many people do not abide by that. I don't know if you want to call it a rule, because if you have a 3, you'd be surprised how many little ones were there. If you have a 3-year-old, I guess if you don't have a babysitter, they were bringing them in. So as far as if they went in any of the houses, I can't tell you that, but you'd be surprised how many youngins were there. And so, yeah, but I know at that age, I know I would be deathly afraid. So,
Marjha, are you okay for a few more minutes? Because I was got a few more questions, and I wanted to play one of your videos from your podcast show too.
oh, sure, that's fine with me.
And I wanted to ask you this as well. What's the story behind your podcast, Movies with Marjha?
Uh, well, I just wanted to come up with a podcast or a page where I could create content where I talked about all things film or even TV shows, because I do mention that as well, and entertainment content on my page. And I felt like that right there is another kind of competitive outlet, the internet. There's millions of people who have podcasts or content pages on Instagram or TikTok that talk about movies. So I said, what can I offer to that realm of the bajillion of pages that are out there that are very similar to mine but be slightly different? And I just, again, had my little note section of my phone and started writing down things that I thought would be fun to talk about, or would think, what could get a few views that people might appreciate and like. And anything that I think of, like with award season, the Oscars coming up, I'll definitely do a segment where I talk about that, or facts about some of behind the scenes things that you may not know happened on a set. I talk about that a lot. I had a summer blockbuster movie series on my YouTube page. And then even here recently, I kind of thought of a quirky way of what could get people engaged and commenting on my post about, what's your favorite TV series theme song that you loved growing up listening to.
By the way, to answer that question, mine is Magnum PI and Simon and
Ah,
Simon.
oh,
Simon,
okay.
Simon, and Magnum. Those are my two, and Mash too. When you hear
Nice.
certain theme songs, it just like boom, it takes you back to that era.
Yes, that nostalgia. Yep.
And also, I wanted to ask you this as well, Marja, as we wrap this up. How often do you record an episode? And what have been some of your favorite episodes reviewing movies? And any plans to have guests on in the future too?
Oh, wow. So I try to record, whether it's I've done more of the what they call short form content videos, just because with other things and life in general, I try to say, all right, what can I, record and kind of shell out for the week where I can keep a consistent schedule with whatever else I have going on in my life right now, but also keep my followers engaged and I don't have a lapse on my page where, as you mentioned in the beginning, too many days go by where I'm kind of dormant and I haven't been posting on my page. So I try to keep as best as I can a consistent schedule and brainstorming ideas. So I try to post maybe at this time four times a week just to keep it consistent. um and even though I just really started this page last summer, so it's still fresh, still very new and in the beginning stages, I think my favorite episode to date was when I did some behind the scenes movie facts about Jurassic Park, which is one of my favorite films of all time. It's probably in my top five. Um, I love dinosaurs. That's another fun fact about myself as a kid. I was obsessed with dinosaurs, so Jurassic Park is an all-time classic for me. And so talking about doing the research behind, what happened on set, or was there anything interesting that happened to the actors while filming this? I would say that is probably my favorite episode that I did.
What's your favorite Disney movie?
Oh, wow. Disney movie. So it's actually, I know a lot of times people, when they think a Disney movie, they'll think of a cartoon, but I like The Chronicles of Narnia. I would say that's my favorite Disney film.
Mine would be Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
That's a good one. Yeah, I like
Did you
that
see that
growing up.
movie at
I
all?
did. Yes, I did. I like that growing up. That was funny.
Any plans on reviewing that movie at some point?
Well, now that you put the idea in my head, I might do that. Yeah. And
Or the Fugitive movie with Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee
yes.
Jones?
Yes, and being that he just won the Lifetime Achievement Award at the SAG Awards this past weekend, I might kind of segue into that, kind of talk about his career a little bit, and then his films. So yeah, you gave me an idea.
And what made that movie so successful wasn't just the story idea from being a TV series in the 60s, but it wasn't Tommy Lee Jones and Harrison Ford obviously were great in their roles, but the location where they
Mm,
filmed the movie, that's another thing too. As an actress too, location is huge and it can make and sometimes make or break a movie too, having the
yes.
right or the wrong location.
Yes, the budget of what goes behind a film is just wild to me, of all the little things that you have to, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, do like inventory almost on, like, all right, we got a location, we gotta this, we gotta that. It's a lot that goes into a movie. So, oh, and then I
How
didn't answer your question about guests. I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yes, I was gonna say, I that is a goal of mine, being that it is, quote, a podcast. I would like to start having guests on. And I do have something actually in the works where I will be interviewing someone. That's TBD, but that is up and coming. So yes.
How can our audience subscribe and follow Movies with Marja? And you already answered the other part. So how can our audience subscribe and follow your podcast show?
Oh, yes. So I am on Instagram. That's Movies with Marja is the title, or at movie underscore motif underscore pod. That's the handle on Instagram. Movies with Marja is also on TikTok, and then Movies with Marja on YouTube.
If you got time for 2 more minutes, I just wanted to play a little clip from your YouTube channel and where people can subscribe to your YouTube channel, which I already have. And this clip is from doing the ET movie back from 1982. I was 10 back then when this movie came out.
Oh, okay.
Just let me know if you can hear the audio okay. I'm the audio guy, so just bear with me. And it's just a little clip from reviewing ET. Did you know facts?
By E.T. So the casting process for this movie was quite interesting. Steven was trying to see maybe if he could get a little person to maybe fit into the suit, since, as we know, Steven is very excellent when it comes to the puppetry and the animatronics of his movies, as I discussed in a previous episode with Jurassic Park. In addition to casting two little people, he found a young boy by the name of Matthew Demerit, who was actually born with no legs and used his hands and upper extremities to walk with. So when they put the suit over him and you see E.T. kind of having that iconic walk, that is actually this 11-year-old boy in the suit using his hands to walk. So many of you know that Drew Barrymore plays Gertie in this film, and she is absolutely adorable in this movie. She's about 5 years old, and her performance is incredible. But one fun fact is the scene where she meets E.T. essentially for the first time and comes running in, and they see each other, and she screams, and then E.T. screams. Steven wanted to get Drew's authentic reaction. He wanted to get something as real as possible. A little child, and to make her scared just to get her genuine reaction. Now, many movies do have iconic cameo appearances that actors do make. But is there one actor that you did notice in the film? All these years later, I'm literally just finding that out. Harrison Ford, of all people, famously known for Star Wars and the like, was in E.T. He played Elliot's principal. There's a scene where Elliot has some frogs and he lets them out, and Harrison Ford plays the principal who scolded him about the frogs. Next, we have a movie faux pas of sorts. So, as we know, the editing process when it comes to making movies is not easy, and sometimes viewers who have a keen eagle eye may see some things that made it into the film that necessarily shouldn't have. And one of those is the handlebar scene of the bike, where Elliot is on the bike, E.T. is in the basket, and they go up and you see the silhouette of the moon in the background. Well, as Elliot and E.T. are going up on the bike, you see him hold on to the handlebars. But as soon as they have a shot of them starting to rise into the sky, the handlebars disappear. So if you do have a keen eye for things like that, you may catch that little faux pas there. There are many scenes in this movie that are honestly the cutest thing ever and my favorite. It has to definitely be the scene where E.T. has a little too much to drink of some Coors Light and let's just say gets a little buzzed. So there is a particular clip in the movie where E.T. is lured into the house by the children with candy. And M&M's actually was originally written in the script to be used to lure E.T. But due to some conflicts and some copywriting issues, Mars, the company that owns M&M's, said, no, we don't want to be used in this movie. So Steven Spielberg got the bright idea to have Reese's get on board, specifically Reese's Pieces. And thanks to Steven Spielberg, he kind of helped save the Hershey empire and specifically the Reese's company, because during this time, Reese's sales weren't doing so hot. And when this scene came out, that candy specifically saw a boom and an uptick in sales. So thanks to him, Reese's is still kicking today and Hershey's is still in existence.
Thank you so much for letting me play this clip. That was some
Oh,
of that
thank you.
stuff I did not know about. No, I didn't know. I did not, as a 10-year-old, I didn't remember Harrison Ford being in that movie. So that's something I
Yeah,
did
a lot
not
of that
know.
just
Remember.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing too. A lot of times for me, the editing of these types of things is the tedious and probably the hardest part, but the research of trying to like look up interesting things that people may not know about is the fun part. So that was pretty fascinating to me as well.
Before we wrap up the show, I've got a viewer watching from California. He's been on my show. He was in the military for 20 years, and now he's a professional motorcycle racer, and he's been on my show. Edward Hearn, he's watching. He wants to ask you, have you ever thought about working with Angel Studios?
Hi, Edward. Thank you so much for your question. Yes, I would love to work with Angel Studios. I have seen a few of their films. I mean, anything where I feel like I can express myself through my craft and delving into the life of someone that's not mine, whether they're a fictitious person or a real person. I would love to do that, and that's why being a creative is something that I just enjoy doing. So yes, to answer your question, I would love to.
What's next on your bucket list as an actress?
Oh my goodness. Wow. I would like to take, actually, I know they say a lot of people in the industry do their own stunts, and that is kind of something that's a little scary, but they have different training, I guess you could say, schools down here. I know there's one in the Tampa, Florida, St. Petersburg, Florida area. There's a few peers and people that I've worked with that do classes down there, and they teach you how to, run and jump and do all these things, and they'll harness you in. So that's something that I would love to invest in and take a stunt class, and then maybe one day do a movie where I do my own stunts.
What's a fun fact about yourself or the state of Florida?
Oh my goodness. Oof. Well, Florida has a lot of wild stuff going on as a state as a whole. So, oh my goodness, a fun fact about myself. When I was in high school, I went on a trip with other people my age who went to other high schools in Florida. It was called People to People Student Ambassadors. I got selected through my school, and that was like a grade thing for your grades, and you got history credit. I went to 4 countries in Europe when I was, I want to say, 15. I went to Austria, Switzerland, Italy, France, and then also, and London, London, England. So
Have you
5.
ever been to Canada yet?
I haven't, and I would love to go.
You'll have to try Toronto or Niagara Falls or Montreal or Vancouver as well. And a lot of movies are filmed out in Vancouver or Toronto as
Yes.
well.
Yes, yes. Two of my personal favorites were Smallville and Supernatural. I know that.
Smallville. Oh, by the way, I was a huge fan of Smallville. I watched it for 11 years, and
Wow.
I really liked that show, and I thought it was great. And I thought Tom Welling was great as a young Superman.
Yeah, he was the casting of that was really good, and he was the perfect Superman. I agree.
Favorite Smallville episode as we wrap this up?
Oh my. Wow. Um, oh my goodness. That's a tough one.
A lot of good
Ooh,
shows, a lot of good
yeah.
episodes.
Ooh, I think you stumped me with that. I have to kind of go back and comb through which one. That's a tough one.
Do you think Tom Welling would have made a really good Superman in the movies?
Um, yeah, I think he would. I do like who they've had. Who was Henry Cavill, and then this newest one,
Yeah.
David Corenswet. I think they were both perfectly cast, but I think Tom would have done quite well if they had a cast of him in one of the films.
To me, I grew up with Christopher Reeve, the late Christopher Reeve.
Yes,
So
that was
the standard for Superman was set by him. And George Reed, the original Superman, was great. There was a couple guys that were original, but to me, Christopher Reeves is the ultimate Superman. But I think Tom Welling is a great one, and Henry Cavill as well. And I was disappointed they kind of changed Supermans again as well.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I did like the newest one that they came out with, but
I
to
have not
piggyback.
seen it yet. I have not seen that yet. So, would
Okay,
you
it's good.
recommend it?
I
Would you
enjoyed
recommend?
it. Yeah, I
Okay,
liked it. But to
that's
piggyback
the
on what you said, I think like Christopher Reeve was probably my favorite too, the original.
I'm gonna have to bring you back on again in the future and talk more movies with you.
Oh, I'd love to come
Uh,
back. Well, thank you
okay.
so much for having me. This was an absolute pleasure.
And finally, ask the host CDP a question as we wrap it up. Do you have a question for me to put me on the hot seat as we wrap this up?
Oh goodness. Um, who is, I know this is kind of a hard one for a lot of people. Who would you say your favorite actor is?
I like Tommy Lee Jones. I like
Hmm,
Harrison Ford. I'm a fan of Adam Sandler.
okay.
I would say for comedy, Adam Sandler, but for overall movies, probably Harrison Ford, even over Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is great, but
Mhm.
I'd go with Harrison Ford for straight through movies.
Oh, that's a great choice. He's good, so I can definitely agree with you on that one. Yeah.
And finally, Marja, where
Mhm.
can our audience follow you on social media and the best way of contacting you?
Yeah, so I'm on I have a Facebook. You can look me up by my name there, Marjha Lynn. I'm on Instagram. Um, that would be my first name, Marjha LG dot actress for Instagram, and then the movie motif Instagram as well. And then on YouTube and TikTok, movies with Marjha. And the best way to contact me would be really on any of those platforms. Just give me a message and give me a holler, and I'll be more than happy to chat with you or answer any questions you may have.
I'm looking forward to your next episode, and hopefully it'll be either Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or The Fugitive.
Yes. Yes, I will definitely start looking things up on that because those are two of my favorites.
Well, I want to say thank you so much for giving us over an hour of your time tonight, and continued success with your acting career, model career, and your podcast show again. And where can people find your podcast again?
So my podcast can be found on Instagram at movie underscore motif underscore pod, and then movies with Marja on YouTube.
Marja, I want to say thank you so much. And if you do get to Canada or the Toronto area, please let me know as well.
Oh, yes, definitely. I'll keep you posted. And again, thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
It's the guests that make a great show. So thank you. And also give me a little bit of time tonight and I will send you the video, the audio, and I will edit it into reels and clips because everyone's attention spans are shrinking these days. So
Hmm.
I will tag you in on TikTok and IG as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a great night and stay warm in Florida.
Thank you. You do the same. Thanks.
You too. Talk to you soon. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, that concludes season 13, episode 10, overall 670 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by our friends at Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com. Speaking of Barry Cullen Chevrolet right now, the federal EV rebate is back at Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Get up to $5,000 off the purchase of your new Chevrolet EV. More details are available at Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall, or go to barrycullen.com or call the dealership at 519-824-0210 and tell them Chris Pame sent you is there as well. So again, the federal EV rebate is back. You can again get up to $5,000 off the purchase of your new Chevrolet EV. More details are available at Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership. If you want to drop by there, again at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. I want to say thank you so much to Marjha Lynn, an actress, a model, a commercial actor, and also the host of her own podcast show, Movies with Marjha, for coming on here tonight as well. And I do have another announcement to make, by the way. I have not one, but two shows coming up on Thursday, March 5th. Thursday, March 5th at 1:35 p.m. in the afternoon, I'm going to have a friend of the show, Brian Cozio, from WGR 550 and 107.7 FM in Buffalo. And we're going to talk Buffalo Sabres hockey with Brian Cozio, and if the Sabres can end their 14-year playoff drought this year as well. So Brian Cozio from WGR and the pre- and post-game host of the Buffalo Sabres will join me Thursday, March 5th at 1:35. And then I have a second show on Thursday, March 5th at 7 o'clock. I have Tally Epen, and Kayla Robinson from Epic Players on as well on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And then Friday, March 6th at 7:30, Friday, March 6th, 7:30. If you're a fan of the Detroit Red Wings, Detroit Pistons, Detroit Tigers, I have three gentlemen on from the Knee Jerks podcast out of Detroit. Greg, Al, and Nick will be on, and we're going to talk Red Wings, Pistons, and Tigers, and maybe a little bit about the U.S. Olympic men's and women's hockey team winning gold medal over Canada as well. So I've got Brian Cozio on Thursday at 1:35, on Thursday, March 5th at 1:35, and then I have Talia Epen and Kayla Robinson on at 7 o'clock on Thursday, March 5th for my doubleheader. And then Friday, March 6th, I have Greg, Al, and Nick on from the Knee Jerk podcast to talk Red Wings, Tigers, and Pistons with us as well. And speaking of NBA, we have the NBA action on tonight. The Detroit Pistons, best record in the NBA, 45-14, are taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are 38-24 in Cleveland tonight at 7 o'clock as well. And speaking of sports, the Buffalo Bandits had a big weekend. They had two games against Saskatchewan, 10-1, Toronto 6-4, and the Bandits won both those games. So the Bandits are now 6-6, back to 500. They're in the number 8 playoff spot, and they saved their season with an 11-10 overtime win over Saskatchewan at the KeyBank Center this past Friday night. And then Saturday, they traveled to Hamilton to TD Coliseum against the very good Toronto Rock team, and the Bandits had an impressive 14-9 win. So huge wins over Saskatchewan and Toronto. The Bandits are now 6-6. They do have a much needed bye week this week, and then their next home game is Friday, March 13th, 7:30, when the Colorado Mammoths invade the KeyBank Center as well. You can get tickets at bandits.com, and for more information on the National Lacrosse League, check out their website, nll.com. And as we wrap up this show, guys, I do have another announcement to make as we wrap this up. The Cambridge and District Humane Society is having a fundraising event on Saturday, April 11th, 2026, from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern at the Cambridge Newfoundland Club, located at 1500 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. The event is called Prohibition Speakeasy Fundraising Event. Tickets are $75 per ticket, and the money goes back into the programs at the Cambridge District Humane Society. You can purchase your tickets at cambridgehumanesociety.org, or you can call the shelter at 519-623-7722, extension 0. Ask for Kat and Zach, and they can take your ticket orders through phone as well, or cambridgehumanesociety.org. Or if you want to buy your ticket in person, you can drop by the Cambridge District Humane Society at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, right across from the Cambridge Center Mall as well. And by the way, speaking of the Cambridge District Humane Society, if you're looking to adopt a pet, check out the Cambridge Humane Society again at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. All the pets that are up for adoption, their information, our profiles are on cambridgehumanesociety.org. There's some wonderful cats down there up for adoption. And there's some dogs like Daisy, Christopher, and Bernie and Olivia that are up for adoption. So if you're in the Kitchener-Waterloo, Guelph, Cambridge area, you're looking to adopt a pet, check out the Cambridge District Humane Society. Michelle and her staff do a wonderful job. And I'm hoping to see you everyone at the Prohibition fundraiser on Saturday, April 11th, 2026. Yours truly, as a dog walker and fundraiser, bought a ticket as well. So, and also, by the way, that fundraiser, if you have a business and you'd like to donate a gift card or a prize, please email me at cpame19@gmail.com and we'll see what we can do, as they are looking for prizes for their silent auction for the Prohibition as well. So please consider buying a ticket. Saturday, April 11th, 2026. The event's from 7 to 11 at the Cambridge Newfoundland Club, right across from the Cambridge District Humane Society, 1500 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. And speaking of the Cambridge District Humane Society, they have an Amazon wish list. Go on cambridgehumanesociety.org and you can help out with pet supplies and food through their Amazon wish list as well. As we wrap up this show, guys, you can follow me on Blue Sky Social at Live with CDP19 on Blue Sky Social. And make sure you book a cameo from yours truly. I've joined the Cameo family. If you'd like a personalized video message from yours truly, go to cameo.com, type in Chris Pame. I do happy birthday, happy anniversary, happy Hanukkah, congratulations, anything within reason. Look forward to doing your request today. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, again, is live streamed on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, Twitch, LinkedIn, and now available on Instagram. You can also follow my website at beacons.ai/Chris D. Pame. I am also a content creator on TikTok. Check me out on TikTok at Chris Pame on TikTok. Follow, like, share, and subscribe. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. If you're into webinars, live streaming, podcasting, go to StreamYard.com and I highly recommend it. And if you're a business that does a lot of webinars, StreamYard.com and contact our sales department for business pricing as well. Finally, guys, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. The audio version is on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, Tuned In, YouTube Music, and Good Pods. Please subscribe, like, and share. Finally, guys, you can email the show Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show at cpame19@gmail.com. Any comments, questions, suggestions, and feedback would be greatly appreciated. And also, if you like my YouTube channel and my media content and you'd like to tip the host, I'm on PayPal at Chris Pame on paypal.com, or better yet, book a video through cameo.com as well. Finally, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, X, Threads, Instagram, LinkedIn, Blue Sky Social, everywhere. And also make sure you check out my YouTube channel, Chris Pame, Live with CDP Talk Show. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. And I also have a lot of content on my YouTube Shorts as well. So in case you don't have a lot of time to watch my YouTube content, I do have a YouTube Shorts there as well. Again, I want to say thank you to my guest tonight, Marjha Lynn. She's a Florida-based actress and model and a passion for storyteller, and she's a podcast host of Movies with Marjha as well. So please follow and subscribe to her social media pages and her podcast. So thank you to Marjha Lynn for coming on here tonight. And guess what? I am looking forward to my doubleheader Thursday, 1:30, Brian Covio from WGR 550 in Buffalo, talking Buffalo Sabres with us. And then Thursday night, 7 o'clock, I have Talia Epen and Kayla Robinson from Epic Players on as well to talk a little bit about Epic Players and some of the work they do with neurodivergent people as well. So I hope everybody has a great night. And I want to say thank you to everyone for watching this show live stream and on my audio platforms. And of course, a big shout out to Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership here in Guelph. And speaking of companies and businesses, if you're looking to sponsor or advertise on my show, you can email me at cpalme19@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you and working with your business, as this show is on 21 platforms, and I'd be happy to advertise your company and business on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. I hope everybody has a great night, and we'll see you back here Thursday at 1:35 with Brian Cozio from WGR 550, 107.7 FM in Buffalo, New York, talking Sabres. Good night, everybody.